michiamo nina yefreme Ruth Nanjala yemamo akwaba edeba Yemaachi Biotech. Hi everyone, welcome to my science journey. Today we are visiting Yemaachi Biotech in Accra, Ghana, and I'm privileged to be hosting two incredible people here at Yemaachi who will share the experiences of working at Yemaachi. Please introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Okay, so I'm Elisa Marie Kwesi-Malipaard. I'm a Dutch scientist. I live in Ghana, I'm married to a Ghanaian, and I'm here at Yemaachi as a research scientist. So my background is mostly cancer immunology. So I do basically 3 projects here that have some immune parts. So that mostly means flow cytometry. Yeah, so basically anything immune, anything with cells
Wow.
is my stuff.
Great. So before we jump into the science, what is the experience living in Ghana as an Ghanaian technically, or how long have you been staying here?
I have been here since 2021, so
2020, so 4 years.
yes, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. How has it been for you?
It's good. I mean, it's life,
It's
and
life.
yes,
Do
I
you
have my
enjoy?
family here,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. All right, so jumping back into the science, you said you do a lot of immune sort of work. So what exactly do you do at Yemaachi?
Um, Different things depending on the
Yeah,
projects
yeah,
we are running. But I do mostly flow cytometry.
yeah,
So I think you know the
yeah,
technique, right?
yeah,
So and you can use it for many things. You
yeah,
can use it to as a more diagnostic tool to
yeah,
see what markers are expressed by certain cancer cells. We also started doing some immunophenotyping for
yeah,
leukemias to
yeah.
see is it a B cell leukemia, T cell, myeloid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those things. You also have a study more into the COVID vaccine. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm also involved in that study to see can we really look at the cellular molecular level what's happening when an African population gets the COVID vaccine
Yeah,
and how do they respond to that
yeah,
and what's going on in the
yeah,
immune response itself.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know Yemaachi does a lot of cancer genomics, right? And you say, you do flow cytometry and you look at some of these, cancer cells. And for someone that is layman's perspective and doesn't understand what exactly, a flow cytometry would be helping in this kind of research, can you sort of break that down and, just to tell us how does that contribute towards the overall goal of the biotech company?
Yeah, so a flow cytometer enables you to look at proteins on the cell surface or inside the cell.
Yes.
So we don't look at the DNA,
Yeah.
but we look at the proteins, and that they can differ. So, for example, I think the advantage of flow cytometry is it gives quite quick results.
Yeah.
So, for example, for leukemia,
Yeah.
you can do some flow cytometry on the sample, and then the next day you can already tell it's a B cell leukemia, T cell leukemia.
Yeah.
Those things. Um, and it's so there's genomics,
Yeah.
which is just the DNA, which will tell you which mutations are
Yeah.
relevant. There's also like the transcriptome, so
Yeah.
what is going on at the RNA level, and then there are the proteins that are
Yeah.
the result of that. And I think you need to understand that
Yeah.
whole package to
Yeah.
really understand what is going on inside the cell. How do these mutations translate into changes at protein level,
Yeah.
and how does that then affect the behavior of the cell
Yeah.
to either become cancerous or to attack cancer or
Yeah.
to what's going on. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope that clarifies things for you guys in case you didn't understand what we were talking about. But again, Liz, can you please tell us what your background was and how long have you been working here and how did you sort of like get to start working here?
Okay, yeah. So I'm from Netherlands, and I did my bachelor and master
Yeah.
there in biomedical
The
sciences.
medical sciences. Yeah.
I actually did do my master at an internship in South Africa at
Oh,
the
okay.
University of Cape Town.
Oh, nice.
That's also where I met my husband.
I did my master's in Cape Town as
Oh,
well.
cool! And
Yeah,
you
my
should do your.
master's project.
Mm,
Okay.
yes,
So that's why you met your Ghanaian husband.
yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But then I came back to Netherlands. I
Yeah.
did my PhD at Netherlands Cancer Institute,
Yeah.
Department of Gene Regulation. So lots of
Mhm.
research happening there on genetics, epigenetics,
Yeah.
and how it is involved,
Yeah.
understanding it, and how that can be applied to cancer.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I decided to move to Ghana,
Yeah.
settle in Ghana.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a short postdoc at Noguchi,
Okay.
and then I was thinking I actually want to do more
Yeah.
of the cancer work.
Yeah.
And then I came across Yemaachi. I just sent my CV
Yeah.
saying like, "Hey, I am here. Is there any opportunity
Yeah.
at Yemaachi?" And then I got the interview, and
Oh, nice. Nice. Nice.
it
Nice.
was actually quite a good match for what they were looking for, what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I've been here almost a year, and
A year.
a year, yes.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And I've really enjoyed myself
Oh,
so
wow.
far.
That's
So
good to hear. So so for someone that is actually interested in coming to work at Yemaachi, what would you say are some of your highlights having worked here for like a year?
I think at Yemaachi, multiple things, in general, things are very, very well organized.
Yeah.
So our laboratory, I don't know if you've seen it already.
Yeah, we've seen the laboratory. It's actually very good.
Everything works. Everything is high level.
Yeah.
Techniques are available. Reagents are available. So that is all.
Yeah.
And it's very pleasant laboratory to work in. And I think the whole setup, how um, like my work is mostly the science part, so
Yeah.
thinking about science
Yeah.
and doing some experiments in the lab.
Yeah.
And that is basically all I have to worry about, because like
Mhm.
my colleague Steven,
Yeah.
he worries about all the recruitment of participants and those things. And I
Yeah.
think it's very good that everyone can focus on
Yeah.
what they're good at,
Yeah.
instead of having to manage a whole project all by yourself, because then you
Absolutely.
keep running around to
Yeah.
fix everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy it, and I think the research we do is really, it's really contributing something to society. It's a very relevant questions, and it's just great to be
Yeah.
part of that, and to
yeah.
know that what you're doing
Yeah.
can really make a difference.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with that. Absolutely. And I love Yamachi. And, I want you to also speak from a non-Ghanaian perspective, because I am Kenyan, and, I might want to come to work at Yamachi at some point, or someone else who's maybe from, South Africa or Europe or US would be interested in working at Yamachi. So how has it been for you integrating into the community here and around, and how has that changed your perspective of life?
It's a good question. I think at Yamachi, it's very easy, because
Yeah.
I'm not the only foreigner, so
Yeah.
it helps a lot.
Yeah.
And everyone is very friendly,
Yeah.
very helpful,
Yeah.
trying to teach me some tree
Okay.
every now and then.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think in Ghana,
Yeah.
of course, it's very different
Yeah.
from Netherlands.
Yeah.
But you cannot expect every country to be the same as your home country. So you should
Absolutely.
prepare your
Absolutely.
mind, things are going to be different.
Yes.
It's been good. People are friendly. I had my kids here, so
Oh, yeah.
I have my family life here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's all fine.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Hopefully, most of you can get to apply and come here. I personally
yes,
think
do
it's an
so.
amazing environment. So, you definitely want to consider coming here. And so, for your final remarks, Liz, I can allow you to go back and do your work. Anything that you'd like to, speak about regarding Yemaachi, for just anyone that is interested in this place that you haven't covered before, in the conversation. Just anything, could be, could be the food, could be the people, could be the company, anything.
I think the company as itself,
Yeah.
the leadership we have, I think it's just very inspirational
Yeah.
to strive you to always aim higher and improve as a scientist and improve the research that's done on the continent.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really great to be contributing a little bit to that. So.
To that, yeah. We are still at Yemaachi, and we have the incredible Steve.
Incredible.
Yeah. And first things first. Let's start with who you are.
Oh my, I'm a
Yeah.
man.
Okay, of course you are a man, but
Anyway,
who are
I'm
you?
Stephen Labidakan Jr.,
Yeah.
clinical research scientist,
Yeah.
and at Yemaachi I work as the research project manager.
Research project manager.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Yemaachi?
17 months,
Okay.
12 days.
Wow. He remembers the days. That's good. Right. Stephen, fun fact. Anything. Fun fact about you.
I like playing chess,
Okay?
and I don't like to lose.
You don't like to do what?
Lose.
Oh, you don't like to lose. Oh, that's big. Especially in
No matter what I'm doing, I don't like to lose.
I think okay. I don't want to give my thoughts, so I'll leave it there. But okay, so thank you for sharing that with
Yeah.
us. So, Stephen, you said you do project management for Yamachi. So, can you tell us what that is and what that involves?
The entire array of things that's involved with every study at Yamachi. So
Mm-hmm.
right from the study conception down to
Yeah.
the study closeout. So when the idea is conceived, we start developing on the idea, molding on it, fleshing it out, and then we go for the site selection. We speak with the site PIs and set up a site team. Then if the site is good to go, we start up the study. I will take things from there to the closeout. So everything involved with the study from beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. So that does mean that you are part of each and every study
Yeah, each and every
from the
study
beginning
to the end.
to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. See someone that gets to travel around. Wait, do you travel around?
Yes, I travel around.
Okay,
I
that's
travel to places nobody in Yamachi will go to.
Oh, wow. Okay, can you tell us about these places
Um,
that nobody would go
I'll
to?
try to keep some things as confidential as possible because this is a brand
Yeah,
and we respect confidentiality
yeah,
clause.
yeah,
But there are certain areas
yeah,
whereby you'd have to get samples from,
yeah, yeah.
and not just
No,
in Ghana
yeah,
or outside Ghana.
outside Ghana
And you
as
have to
well.
reach out to those areas as well.
All right, thank you for sharing that with us. So you've said you've been here 17 months and 12 days.
Yes.
How has your experience been?
Um, in one word, intriguing.
Intriguing.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's been intriguing. You have the concept that you come in to fulfill a niche
Yeah,
and make an impact in society,
yeah,
and you have the wherewithal and the resources with you to do that.
mm-hmm.
You have the support of your teammates,
Yeah,
and you get to have that feeling
yeah.
and the content that indeed you're actually touching lives.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And if you look at the whole Yamachi vision, I think I totally agree with that. But probably for someone who doesn't or hasn't heard about Yamachi before, can you tell us a little bit about that contributing to the overall goal of the vision?
So the entire essence of Yemachi is oncogenomics,
Yeah,
right? Genomics is more or less designer medicine. For those that don't understand it, we precision medicine. And what we are trying to do is to identify targets, genetic targets that we can develop drugs for in the long term. And for me as a person, one of the things I've always been interested in is increasing Africa's quota to research.
mm-hmm.
If you actually go ahead and do your investigations, you contribute less than 5% to the entire research pool. And if you dig deeper, we contribute less than 1% to pharmacogenomics.
Yeah,
So being part and parcel of Yamachi, what we are doing in quotes is virgin territory.
okay.
We're literally getting first-hand research that other researchers will pull upon to enhance the entire genetic pool and the entire scientific pool on the continent and the world at
Absolutely.
large. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank thank you for sharing that, Steve. And you said you were trained as a clinical research scientist, right? And now you're doing project management.
Yeah.
So meaning you don't do lab work right
No, I
now,
don't.
right? So how was the transition for you and how did you actually transition from being a clinical research scientist into project management?
So essentially, clinical research science
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the lab.
Okay.
Yes, it has to do with research ethics
Okay.
and ensuring that the overall studies that you are overseeing they fall within the tenets of the society
Okay.
and the regulatory authorities,
Okay.
right? So that's one of the main reasons I joined the match in the first place,
Okay.
right? After I went for my MSc in clinical research in faraway India.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, I go to the places nobody goes to.
Okay.
By the way, India is
Okay.
incredible. Yeah, I go to the places nobody goes
Okay.
to. So I went for my MSc in India
Yeah.
and got a couple of experience
Mhm.
at a under pharmacogenomics brand, and I came over to join Yemaachi.
Yeah.
So the transition has been seamless. This is
Okay.
essentially what I've always done. This is essentially what I always do.
Ah, okay. So you said that was one of the reasons for joining Yemaachi. Do you have other reasons for joining Yemaachi?
Well, Yemaachi is pioneering,
Yeah.
and you want to leave your legacy in the sands of time.
Wow. That's powerful, guys.
Yes. And another thing is, as a person, you should always seek your niche.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always known what I wanted to do. And once I found out Yemachi was in line with that, I just stepped in.
Wow. Right. Thank you. Thank you. And you said, you did your master's in India, right?
Incredible India.
Incredible. India. All right. Why in India was this?
Gurgaon. So India has
Yeah.
a national capital region,
Yeah.
Delhi, Faridabad, and Gurgaon.
Yeah.
I did my master's in Gurgaon at PJ Star University.
Oh, okay. And before that, where were you?
I worked in a couple of hospitals as a biomedical scientist. So
Yeah.
she actually has prophetic capabilities. I worked as a lab scientist
Okay.
at a couple of private hospitals before going over to India for my MSc in clinical research.
So what was your undergraduate training in?
BSc biochemistry and
All right. So
biotechnology.
all right. So you moved from biochemistry now into like
Yes.
clinical research and
I
ethics.
yes.
All right.
I try to be a jack of all trade and a
Okay.
master of all.
Oh wow! I love the confidence. All right. So I'm actually interested or keen on why you chose to pursue that particular path.
Okay, so it's essential. Like I said, I've always had a goal of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The end product had always been to increase the research pool in Africa.
Okay.
That has
Okay.
always
So
been the end
that's the
product.
goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I got into university,
Yeah.
or when I was applying to the university,
Yeah.
biochemistry is literally the foundation of all the sciences.
Okay.
And I specifically went to study biochemistry, focused
Yeah.
all my courses
Yeah.
on the research inclined ones,
Yeah.
medical research inclined ones. When I was done, I worked in the lab to pick up a couple of lab skills.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you should
Yeah.
be able to step in to do everything. That's my
Absolutely.
mentality as a
Yeah.
scientist.
Yeah.
In case anything happens in the lab in Yemaachi, I should be
Yeah.
able to step in to help people out.
Yeah.
And after a couple of time that I felt I've picked up the requisite skills,
Yeah.
I went ahead to get my MSc in clinical research
Okay.
so that I could incline things along the ethical point, because clinical research is still lacking in Africa.
Yeah.
In fact, the entire scientific field in Africa is still in the baby level.
Yeah.
And we need to build upon that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved from India to Ghana, or you had
So
an interim?
she wants to know my
something
full breakdown. I'll give that to her. So I moved from India to Ghana. I worked on a contractual basis for
Yeah.
a couple of CRAs in our field. We call them contract research associations,
Yeah.
contract research organizations, or SMO, site management organizations. I worked for quite a vast array of them, and I took some private work as well.
Yeah.
For a couple of diplomatic agencies and NGOs, and then a certain company called 54 Gene
Yeah.
popped up. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've
You
heard
good?
of 54 G.
So 54 Gene came calling, and I picked
Oh.
up my bag over to Nigeria to work with
Okay.
54 Gene. And then whatever happened to 54 Gene happened,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I realized Yemaachi was in Ghana, and
Okay.
I came back
Time to
home.
go home.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to Yemaachi. So now you're at Yemaachi. You've been here for like 17 months, you said. And how has it been for you in terms of not the science, but the community aspect of things? Can you speak to us about that?
Yeah, that's great. I'll say this. Yamachi's science is inclined with what I've always wanted to do and what I've believed in, having a profound impact on the community while still being able to carry out your research and studies, right? Like I said, I can't release certain things because of confidentiality agreements, but Yamachi is doing things for the community that has never been done. Elisa spoke about flow cytometry. She's using her skills and her techniques to actually make impact on people for free.
Yeah.
Right? And there are turnaround times for certain diagnoses we are doing that has never happened in the country before.
Yeah.
So in terms of communal engagement, in terms of communal impact, Yemaachi is doing what I expect them to do. Yes, we can do more.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll get there when we have the requisite resources, but we're on the right path.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before I close up, Steve, as a Ghanaian, and having seen, I mean, I don't know whether you've been here since the inception, but having been here for the number of months that you've been here, and seeing the contribution of Yemaachi to the not the economy but the government, with the sort of work that you guys do, and also just the continent as a whole. I know you've spoken about the overall vision and everything, but can you speak to us from a Ghanaian perspective about how you feel about Yemaachi's contribution towards that?
Okay, so Ghana has always been called the gateway to Africa. That's the tag, and I think Yemaachi is living up to the billing. yes, the support from the government, as usual in most parts of the continent, is next to nothing. But it takes you to actually take the first lead, like Gandhi
Yeah.
said or Rabindranath Tagore said. You
Yeah.
take the lead first, and then others will follow.
Yeah.
And I made reference to what Eliza is doing,
Yeah.
right? If you look at what Yemaachi is doing, the eyes
Yeah.
of the government are on us. It may not necessarily be the ruling government or the
Mm.
party in power, but what
Yeah.
is actually happening is we are merging with sites, we are
Yeah.
liaising with sites, we are
Yeah.
working with clinical partners.
Mm.
And these partners are feeling the impact of what we're doing.
Mm.
The government in power does not necessarily need to align with us.
Mm.
But I know with time,
Yeah.
they'll be able to measure with us and make the requisite impact. But for now, all the clinical sites we're having an impact on, these are teaching hospitals.
Yeah.
And when you're able to touch lives
Yeah.
via the teaching hospital, that's
Yeah.
quite profound.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, in the long term, the most important thing for every country is a
Yeah.
healthy population.
Yeah.
And if we are carrying out our research and at the same time being able to impact on people,
Yeah.
it's going to reverberate quite soundly and roundly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And finally,
You're finally for the 10th time.
finally, so for someone that is interested in working at Yemaachi, a Ghanaian, we've spoken about the perspective of a non-Ghanaian. So a Ghanaian that is interested in working with Yemaachi, what would be your advice for them?
Seek perfection. When you seek perfection, you can.
The
Oh,
guy here is a perfectionist, guys.
you always you always fall. Even if you fall, you fall within excellence, and you should always have the mindset that you're coming to give you all. It's something I've told everybody I've worked with, and it's something I encourage everybody to have. No matter how young you are, you should always have the mindset that you can make the impact. Nothing is taken for granted. Even in nonsense, the word sense still exists. So just make sure that you know what you're going to give, you trust yourself, and most especially be willing to learn.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
you're
Thank you
welcome.
so much, Steven, and for your time as well, and for sharing this with us. This has been incredible as I started in the beginning. But yeah, thank you so much.